This teacher didn't know that he tried to play a joke on the wrong student. He had no idea that this young man is a highly trained operative from North Korea, who has come to the South to carry out his mission. The young man, who was previously known as Myung-hoon, has changed his name to Dae-ho. He joins his new school in South Korea in order to mingle with the rest of the students and use school as his cover. The first person he meets is a girl named Hye-in. Not only she is a polite person, but she also has the same name as his sister, who is imprisoned back in North Korea. As soon as they sit together, a bunch of bullies start picking on the new guy. Dae-ho pushes the bully's hand away, but then they take him to the roof. The leader of the bullies punches Dae-ho, but the young spy is used to it. Even though his mouth bleeds, he almost doesn't feel it. Another bully mentions that Dae-ho has a tight body, like he is working out. While he checks his body out, the bully finds Dae-ho's wallet and takes it from him. Inside the wallet, there is money and a picture of Dae-ho with his family, his sister, and his dead father. Dae-ho warns the bullies to just take the money and give him his picture back. When the bullies fail to comply, Dae-ho takes the picture back and clenches his fist, preparing for a fight. At that moment, the teacher finds them on the roof and instructs everyone to go back to class. To relieve his anger, Dae-ho goes for a couple of rounds on the basketball courts. He knows that he can't fight with anyone because that would jeopardize his mission. His cover would be blown. When he is back in class, the teacher plays around with the students by hitting them with a wooden stick he carries around. Before he leaves his students to have their break, he reminds them that they have cleaning duty today. When the teacher is gone, and the bullies have an open space, they order Dae-ho and Hye-in to clean the class, including the windows. The next day, Hye-in is being picked on again. Dae-ho does not like that image, but he still can do nothing about it. Realizing that he has to stay calm and keep himself back, he just helps Hye-in collect the trash that her fellow students are throwing at her. The bullies comment that these two losers look like a nice couple. However, the bullies are not done with Hye-in. Later that day, they take her to a private office, and they steal an envelope full of money that she is carrying around. That money would be used to pay for her ballet lessons since she likes to dance. While she tries to retrieve the money, the bullies tear her shirt. Simultaneously, Dae-ho walks outside that office. This time he believes that the bullies have crossed the line. They must be taught a lesson. Dae-ho picks a fight with them. He starts breaking their necks, legs, and wrists, one by one. The next morning, Dae-ho realizes that Hye-in is not at school. In the meantime, the teacher has given the class a test and he just walks around with his stick, messing with them and telling them that they need to use their brains. When he approaches Dae-ho and is about to hit him with the stick, the latter puts him in a hold out of instinct. The young spy realizes that he is overreacting and he releases the humiliated teacher. To deal with this awkward moment, the teacher compliments him on his reflexes. During the break, the bullies are eating their lunch at the cafeteria, or at least they are trying to eat it since Dae-ho has delivered some real damage to them. They discuss how they are going to get their revenge on Dae-ho, but they immediately shut their mouths when they see him approaching. Dae-ho sits down with them and asks the leader of the bullies if he knows where Hye-in works. Then, Dae-ho proceeds to meet the teacher, saying that he is having a headache and he would like to leave school early today. The teacher is still feeling awkward about what happened earlier, and he would actually feel better if Dae-ho left the school today, so he just allows him to go. That day, Dae-ho also receives his first mission, which is to find an assassin who has been killing former members of Unit 8. Unit 8 is the organization where Dae-ho belongs as well. His first target is a man who is running a small boxing gym. Dae-ho overpowers him easily and sits him down for an interrogation. When the man claims that he has no ties to the assassin, Dae-ho proves that he is serious about this by shooting his leg. A few moments later, the man tries to counterattack Dae-ho. He grabs a knife after hitting the young spy with a chair. However, Dae-ho's technique is spotless and he finishes the man with a devastating blow. Next, Dae-ho visits a butcher. This guy seems to be more cooperative, and he gives Dae-ho the license plate number that belongs to the assassin's car. But then, he tries to fight Dae-ho within the fridge of his store. After evading several meat attacks, Dae-ho easily finishes the butcher and gets going. Soon, Dae-ho spots the assassin and drives his bike near his car. However, the assassin is quick enough to see Dae-ho pulling his gun and drives away. Dae-ho takes a couple of shots at the car and manages to hit one of its tires. The car crashes, trapping the assassin in it. Dae-ho approaches with the sole intention of killing this assassin. However, he realizes that there are too many eyes around. Some young students are even recording the incident on their phones. He knows that he can't kill the assassin right now because the police will be able to find him. Therefore, he He leaves the scene knowing that this is a battle he will have to fight another day. That day will not be long to come. A few nights later, Dae-ho returns home and finds the assassin waiting for him. He immediately unbuttons his jacket and approaches the assassin, who turns a table on him. The two of them start fighting while demonstrating that they are both well trained. They literally destroy the house as they exchange punches and kicks. However, Dae-ho seems to be more efficient in battle. When the assassin realizes that he is going to have a hard time beating up the young spy, he tries to pull his gun. Despite this, Dae-ho grabs his hand and wrestles the gun out of his grip. Then, the assassin pulls a hidden knife out and tries to attack Dae-ho with it. The latter uses a soda can to defend from the knife and eventually uses that same knife to kill the assassin. He knows that this incident is going to attract a lot of attention, so he decides to make the whole scene look like an accident. He cuts the gas pipes open and then he places a kitchen knife into the microwave oven. The knife in the microwave creates sparks, and the house explodes. It goes without saying that Dae-ho mounts his bike and drives away as fast as he can. After setting himself up in a new house, he receives a phone call from the army colonel who made him into a spy. Dae-ho's mission this time is to attack several members of Sector 35, another caveat organization from North Korea. Sector 35 is an organization that belongs to the upcoming dictator of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, while Unit 8 belongs to the current dictator, Kim Jong-il. Dae-ho does as he is told, and attacks some members of Sector 35 during one of their meetings. While he kills many of them, Dae-ho also steals a package full of diamonds that's worth $30 million. In the meantime, a high-ranked member of the North Korean government has set up a meeting with his counterparts from China and South Korea. He informs them that Kim Jong-il is going to die because he is sick, which means that Kim Jong-un is going to step up. As a present, they are going to give them all the names of the Unit 8 operatives who are living in China and South Korea. Dae-ho is told that he is free to return to North Korea and reunite with his sister, but he is unaware that the dynamics in the political scene have changed. The man who is supposed to take him to North Korea by sea attacks him with a knife and stabs him. Thankfully, Dae-ho is able to recover and fight the man off. After Dae-ho kills the man, he realizes that the North Koreans want him dead and there is no way he can go back alive. Having no place to go, he visits Hye-in and sleeps in her house. While he falls asleep disappointed, Hye-in watches the news revealing the faces of the spies that have infiltrated South Korea, Dae-ho being one of them. The next morning, the colonel calls Dae-ho. He informs him that he is in South Korea along with his little sister. He proposes a trade, the diamonds for his sister. Dae-ho knows that this is probably a trap, but he can't abandon his little sister. That's why he writes a note for Hye-in before he leaves, telling her to inform the police about his meeting with the colonel. During the meeting, the colonel and Dae-ho show each other their packages. As expected, an agent sneaks behind Dae-ho and tries to shoot him, but he is shot by a police officer first. Chaos breaks loose as the North Korean agents are involved in a gunfight with the police, while Dae-ho is fighting with the colonel. Eventually, the car carrying little Hye-in drives away, but it is stopped by the police. Knowing that his little sister is going to be fine, Dae-ho decides to run away as he has no idea what he needs to do now. The colonel does not give up, and he now abducts Hye-in, Dae-ho's schoolmate. The young spy calls a detective. He leaves the call open so the police can trace his call. Then, he enters the colonel's location and shows him the diamonds. However, he tosses them in the air to distract everybody's attention, so he can start shooting them. Even though he takes many enemies out, he is also shot by them. Dae-ho sets Hye-in free, but they are surrendered. To counter this situation, he tosses a bag full of explosives near some gas containers, causing a massive explosion. While he tries to run away with Hye-in, he is grabbed by a remaining agent. Dae-ho instructs Hye-in to run away, while the colonel approaches and tries to shoot at him. Dae-ho is smart enough to turn his body and use the agent holding him as a shield. Then, he grabs a gun himself as the police detective also joins the scene. The three men are caught up in a tight situation. The worst part is that Dae-ho knows he will either end up dead or in prison. The young spy tells the detective that he has to end this, and shoots the colonel, who also shoots him. Dae-ho has taken lots of hits and he does not look good. The detective and Hye-in put him into a car in order to transfer him to a hospital, but there is not enough time. Dae-ho dies in the car. Knowing the story of her best friend and why he did everything he did, Hye-in decides to become a foster sister to Dae-ho's little sister, the other Hye-in. Even though Dae-ho was gone after doing his part, his sister is going to be taken care of by the only person the young spy trusted.